What's up, guys? Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. Yes, today is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. So we got some updates for today in regards to Hyperlane. Also, I'm gonna be covering a few things for layer 0 and how you can use Merkley. Yesterday I talked about it, but it looks like some of you guys don't really know how to use it. So I'm gonna be showing just a few transactions on how you guys can use it. And we also have a new listing for Zora, which will be ending in just a few hours. So what I did is I added the link in the description for the minting on Zora that we have, let's see, 7 hours left. So Zora is now supporting Arbitrum, so that means you can now mint this NFT on Zora by using Arbitrum. The price is around $2, $2.50, like in total, for paying the gas fees and everything else. I do think it is worth it. In the end, it is just 2.5 bucks, and hopefully it might serve as a multiplier in the future. So you guys have the option right there to use it. And obviously you guys know that Zora is tokenless. This is actually the marketplace for Zora. So most likely we could receive an airdrop by using it. So there you go. So that would be the first step. So minting, let's see, 7 hours and 37 minutes. And basically that's it. Pretty easy to use. By tomorrow, we also have another minting on Holograph. As usual, every Wednesday we have Holograph, but for Holograph you do have the option to just use the Zora blockchain, and the minting is completely free. And usually the gas fee is around $1 or $2 also. So you guys can check that out tomorrow. So starting first with Hyperlane. Yesterday I started using it on multiple wallets just to double check what is working, what is not working, to give you guys a good summary about it. So let's go ahead and review that. Here it is. I actually even created my own somehow tracker API just to double check everything, just to make sure that I'm actually tracking what I want to track. It is not live. I'm actually running it locally, so if you guys want it, I actually can add it to the website. The main changes from zksync.netlify is that I'm tracking my gas fees. For zksync.netlify, you don't have your last transaction, and I also think they're not tracking the gas fee, and I think that's it. Other than that, it should be the same. One quick second. But before that, what's up, guys? Hopefully you're doing pretty good. Hello. Can I start? That's Zora, not good in NFT. I'm not good also in NFTs. I'm just minting a few NFTs here and there on Zora. I've been doing it for the past maybe 8 months, 10 months. So nothing crazy. There's really nothing else to do on Zora. I'm not really into NFTs. I'm just minting a few NFTs here and there. That's it. So hopefully I can receive the airdrop. What site it is? Which one? If you're asking about Zora, the website is in the description, but that is zora.co. But if you want to go directly to the minting page, there is a link in the description, so you can go directly to it. And if you're asking about this, I created this, so it is not online, but I can add it to my website if you guys want it. Basically, I can check any type of wallets. For example, this is the wallets for the live stream. What's that? So I can go where it is here. Here it is. So now I have 6 transactions. You guys can see active days. So I have been using it for only 1 day. And a few destination names, so on and so forth. I do need to add this one, which I don't know what it is, but I can look for it on Chainless. But again, I can add it if you guys are interested into it. It is nothing really crazy. But the main information is this. So yesterday, I don't know if you guys are in the Discord group, but Zulu reached out, and at the moment, they are not tracking our transactions for Solana, Cosmos chains, and also Solana. So I'm not really sure if we should continue to add volume right now, because even if we go to their tracker, so that is Hyperlane. So they have their own explorer. So hopefully you guys can see it. Yeah. So let me show you guys something. So this is the wallet for the live stream. And if you guys saw the video, you guys know that I use various projects like Nexus and also Nautilus. So if I come here and I paste my wallet address, it is actually only showing my transactions on Merkley. It is not showing my transaction on Nautilus. It is not showing my transaction on Nexus. So again, at the moment, I'm not saying it is bad, because most likely they haven't added the option to see it on their Explorer, or maybe they're just waiting for somebody else to create their own Explorer so we can check the information. But at the moment, I cannot see it. And the API that I'm using is actually coming from them, from their Explorer. So that's why I cannot see it. So for me, I do think it kind of makes more sense to just focus on Merkley, just add a few transactions, and also it is less expensive to just use Merkley at the moment. Whenever in the future that they add the option for tracking our transactions on Nexus, on Nautilus, then I'm gonna be adding more transactions. But for now, I'm just gonna be using Merkley. So a quick example would be using Merkley here. We go to Hyperlane. You mint some tokens. Let's go ahead and do something like Arbitrum. Here it is. So I do have some tokens. Let me drop it. Okay, so once you mint enough tokens, HMerk, you can start bridging it to many chains. Just make sure that you're using Hyperlane right here at the top. Then you click on HFT. Then once you go down, you click on start bridging, so you can send some tokens to any other chain, and that will be using Hyperlane. So for example, if I add another transaction for Celo, let's go ahead and do it. Can do that, continue, confirm. There we go. So that is one transaction right there. Let's go ahead and also check or add another one, maybe to Genesis. Continue. There we go. So basically I added two transactions. So if we go back here, so here it is. You guys can see. I'll go ahead and refresh. So you guys can see now I have two other transactions that are being added, which is Arbitrum to Genesis and then Arbitrum to Celo. If I also do the same here on my tracker and I check it, it should say 8 transaction. Now I am seeing 2 active days. So yes, it is working. But again, for Nautilus or Nexus, it is not tracking my transaction, unfortunately. How is everyone doing? 9:26 in Nigeria. I'm not sure what you mean with that. Seems that Starknet dropped soon. Did you farm it? And what are your expectations? Yes, I actually farmed Starknet using 3 wallets. But the biggest amount of volume, I actually added that between September and November. So maybe I do think I am eligible, but I don't know for how much. Now, if they took the snapshot by November 30, then I'm good. Most likely I should be receiving a pretty good airdrop. I think I have around $10,000 in volume on 3 of my wallets. But previous or before September, I think I had like 2-3K in volume, not something really good. So not sure, to be honest. I'm just waiting. If I get something out of it, good. If not, that's okay. I'm just moving to the next one. Kingo, welcome in. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense, but let me know if you have any questions regarding that. So basically for Merkley, just mint some tokens which are basically worthless. What we're doing is just using the technology, the bridging technology. In the future, we're gonna have also the gas refuel, which is sending some funds, which obviously that is way better than just using worthless tokens. But for now, we only have this available for Hyperlane. If we click on gas refuel, you guys can see it is only available for layer 0 and Polyhedra, but we can send their tokens. So once we do that, we're basically using Hyperlane. That's it. At the moment, that is the only task that I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be using it every single day. Since it is pretty inexpensive, you guys saw that I took one transaction and it was around 28 cents. And obviously in the future, whenever we have more applications, I'm gonna be using it. Now, to the next one, layer 0. So I have been getting that question a lot, if it is worth it for me to use the gas refuel feature, since sometimes you cannot send a lot of money. So for example, right here, the maximum amount of MTR that I can send is 1. And I think the price of MTR is around $2. So let's check MTR. $2.78. So obviously the volume will be only $2 up to $3 in volume, but the goal is not to add volume by using Merkley. What you're trying to do is hit all those networks that most likely you're not going to be using, but at least you can send some funds. So for example, if I use $2.73, I send it to Matter or Matter, however it is. Once I have my funds there, then I can move it into something else like Celo. From Celo, I can then send it to Kento, then maybe to this, to Fuse. Then I can send it to Genesis. Then I can send it to Core. We also have Luth and many other options. So the goal is not really to add a lot of volume on these platforms. It is just to add transaction count, but also to use different smart contracts, because every single time that you're bridging to another chain, you're using a different smart contract. So obviously your ranking will be way better than somebody else that is just bridging between Arbitrum and Optimism. So right now, if you're just starting out, most likely the best way to start farming layer 0 is 1, adding a lot of volume, being consistent, but also using all the applicable chains. So your ranking can obviously improve. So that's how I use gas refuel on Merkley. Once I want to add some volume, I just use something like OMNIBTC, like Jumper, and then I bridge a lot of funds. So $1,000, $2,000, and then I take maybe 10 transactions. I add like 20K, 40K in volume, and then that's more than enough. Also, another good thing that I saw here is that we can send some funds to Orderly. So Orderly is a layer, actually. So even though there is really no application on Orderly, but we can send some funds to Orderly. So as you guys can see here, we have the option to do it, which is just some ETH. And you guys know that Orderly is tokenless. We have been doing the quest using logX. So most likely, if you guys want to differentiate yourself, you could send a little bit of funds to Orderly. You don't need to go crazy, but you can maybe send something like 0.01 ETH, something like 18 bucks, $5. And once you have your funds on Orderly, the good thing is it is using layer 0, and you can still send that gas refuel to many other platforms. So for example, we have Avalanche, which is applicable. We have Optimism, Polygon, Ethereum, and I think that's it. Yeah, those 4.
Okay, I found this on the web for
No. Okay. So yeah, orderly, I do think it is worth it if you're using the gas refuel. And once you have your funds, just go ahead and send it to Optimism, to Avalanche, to Polygon. You can also use Ethereum, but obviously it will be way too expensive. So I would just stick on these three. And right there, you're still using layer 0. So pretty good to add. Let's go ahead and check some comments. Orbiter Finance is turning into layer 2. Feels very bullish. Maybe time to form those 0 points. I have been. I just hate it, to be honest. But I do think layer 0, Orbiter will do pretty good if you have enough points. Submax just arrived. Excited for Starknet this week. Pretty excited also, but I've been excited since November. I'm doing layer 0 right now. Let's go. Sorry, I have a question. What exactly is the purpose for bridging? What's the idea behind it, and what is the benefit to us? Sure. So we are basically bridging because layer 0 is a technology. So for you to receive the airdrop from layer 0, you need to be using their technology, which it will count as an early user. So we get an airdrop because we are an early user with a platform. So for you to use layer 0's technology, you need to be bridging. So basically that's the case here. Hopefully that makes sense. So if you're using a bridge that is using layer 0 technology, you're then adding some volume into it. So for example, if I look into layer 0 scan and I check some of my transactions, you guys can see that on this wallet I have added 44 transactions in total. Right here you guys can see it, and many of them actually have been from Merkley. So if I go back to Merkley and I send something like 0.05, how much is that? Nah, that's too much. Let's go ahead and do something like this. $6. So I'm gonna do refuel, continue, confirm. Great. So now in just a second or two, we should see in flight. So that means I'm gonna have 46 transactions that are going through layer 0. Here it is. So I have in flight now. So that means I took a transaction using layer 0 technology. So in the future, whenever they do their airdrop, I should be taken into consideration because I am an early user. Hopefully that makes sense. I have 840 points on Arbiter. Pretty good. That's pretty good. For Kinza, if you borrow, you can supply that borrow and earn points too. Right. Yes, of course you can. That is called looping. So basically you're taking some funds, you're supplying it, borrowing against it, then you supply again, then you borrow against it, then you supply again. Obviously you can do it, but that comes with a little bit of risk, just so you know. Is it worth $33 in fees to get orderly battle royale NFT, or is it better to pay $15 in fees and only get the king NFT? To be honest, I'm doing both of them. $33 in fees is actually nothing for an airdrop. Like guys, usually you should be making a few $100 from an airdrop most of the time if you're doing things right. So $33, obviously, it is still $33, but in the end, if you can get something out of it like $300, that's a 10x on your fees. So I would always choose to get the higher NFT if it is a project that I like. Orderly is one of them that I do like. So I would go with the, obviously that's my opinion, but I would go with the Battle Royale. I'm at earlier stage on my layer 0 farm, still putting bigger volume, and later I will be putting more smart contract, target almost chain as source. This is a chain. By the way, Yeah, that's the way to do it. If you're starting on layer 0, just focus into adding a lot of volume. Obviously, it is different for each one of us. It might be 10K for you, it might be 100K for me, it might be 5K for anybody else. Once you have a good amount of volume, just focus into using something like Merkley, like Holograph, just to add transaction count, and also using multiple chains. So I'm still super new to this thing. I know some concept and trying to catch up to the rest. So where and how do you suggest I start? That's the biggest question, to be honest. Starting for me and starting for somebody else is extremely different. So if you already have some knowledge into crypto, it is extremely easy for you to start into airdrop. Now, if you're just getting involved with crypto, it's kind of difficult. But I would maybe pick one project, use something like $100, and then start learning, start using it every single day, watch a lot of videos, and try to learn, understand volume behind it, understand transaction count, gas fees that you're spending on the project, and everything else. So maybe choose something like layer 0, like Hyperlane, doesn't really matter, and get something like $100, $50, just play money so you can spend it on it and use it as much as possible. Your first goal is actually to learn as fast as possible. So spend some funds, because we don't have universities for crypto. So actually you need to spend some money to learn. That's the best way to do it. Once you start spending money, losing some money on gas fee, you will see automatically you will start getting and checking some information how you can spend less gas fee, what chains are actually less expensive. It will come automatically. I read Hyperliquid changed the point system. Any suggestion about the strategy? Some people say to open opposite position in other perps. Always at your video. Many thanks. So yes, I heard that also, that Hyperliquid, they changed the system. 1 second, guys. So yeah, they changed the point system, or actually how we're gonna be qualifying to get some points. It looks like they are taking everything into consideration, not only our volume, the amount of transaction, but also for how long we're leaving our transactions, also our funds on chain and everything else. So yes, they're obviously changing a few things, but also if you're not getting a lot of points, most of the time it is because you took your transaction after the snapshot. So for example, if I start adding transaction today, I'm not gonna be getting points on Thursday. It should be on the next Thursday. So next Thursday, make sure to double check to see how many points you have. And also another thing is we get 1 million points per week. So that means if there are more users, if there is more people using Hyperliquid, obviously we will be getting diluted, because it is still 1 million points per week. So the bigger the amount of users, obviously the amount of points that we're going to be receiving is obviously less and less. So yes, we're basically getting diluted. In terms of strategy for Hyperliquid, to be honest, I'm still using the same. Just opening transaction and closing it after a few minutes. Sometimes now I switch it up a little bit. So for example, if there is not a lot of volatility in the market, like right now, I wouldn't open a position on Hyperliquid and leave it for a few hours. But let's say last week, which was pretty good, pretty easy to add some volume, you could open a position with some leverage, leave it open for a few hours. You could even use something like a stop loss, and then you close your position after a few hours. So you can mix it up a little bit. So 40 to 50 seconds is good, but it looks like they're just changing the rules because they know what they're doing. Most likely they're also watching my live stream. So that's why. So I guess that's why. I don't know. go ahead and turn this and see if internet connection is actually quite good today. Yeah, it is working. So let's see what else we have. So Starknet eligibility tomorrow confirmed. Is it really? By who? By them or just an influencer talking shit? Let's see. Starknet. I'm not seeing any information. So technical choices, blah blah blah. Let me go to maybe Starknet Foundation. I'm not seeing any information about it, so I'm not sure where you're getting that info. On Spaceship by, let's listen to it, tag it as well. Okay, maybe, but until we get the real announcement, I don't know. I'm still gonna be waiting. Check your wallet score for mode and pay $10 to bridge in and out just to secure your score. If you have like plus 150, might be worth it. Yeah, but wait for the gas fee. Gas fee right now is just way too expensive. I would wait. We still have until April. Hi, I'm hearing a lot of talk about Hyperliquid. Can you please tell us about it? Thanks. Yeah, sure. Hyperliquid is a trading platform. So basically you just trade with leverage. So that means leverage is if you have $100, you can use 10x leverage, which would be $1,000 to use. So obviously you can make more money, but you can also lose more money. Our goal with Hyperliquid is just to earn some points. The more volume, the more you use the platform, the more points you're going to be getting. And there is an airdrop, which I think it is kind of scheduled for after April, because after April, the point system, they're going to stop the point system. So most likely after that, we're going to be getting the airdrop. I do have a video on Hyperliquid, so you can check it out, Kingo. But pretty easy to understand. Max, are you farming any testnet currently? Also, would you recommend any good? Any ideas? What metrics should we aim for testnet? So in terms of metrics, I don't really have metrics for testnets. And I'm not that good, to be honest, just being real. I'm not really that good on testnets. I am kind of using some of them, which is Prism, Nibiru. I'm also using it. I don't know what else. I would have to double check. Also, someone yesterday mentioned Avail, which I haven't started using it. It might be good also. Oh, Berachain, I'm also using it. Tyco, I have used it in the past. Venom, I have used it in the past, but to be honest, I don't know what metrics you should look for. Most of the time, it is best if we can get like a Galaxy Quest on testnets and get something like a OAT or NFT. 800K on NFT Copilot is a good thing. Depends on what you're referring to. 800K for what? For layer 0? If it is 800K, it is not bad, but it is not good. Again, try to use Merkley. Most likely you're not hitting all the chains. With $15, that is more than enough for you to just send some funds, gas refuel, to many chains, and most likely you should be sitting after 2 days at maybe 600k, 500k. Because many people are not really using many chains. What they're doing is just using the average Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon, BNB, and then adding a lot of volume. So just try to add some more smart contracts. Do you think it is worth to continue farming Menta? What do you mean by farming Menta? And Mental. So first of all, for Menta, the airdrop is done. So no, I wouldn't, obviously no. For Mental, I added some volume on Mental, but to be honest, once the token is out, most of the time, the next airdrop is not that good. I think I am eligible for like 20 or 32 Mental tokens, which is what, like $15? So it is not really worth it. Pith staking is good. If you can do it, if you can afford it, obviously you can go for it. I do think it is pretty good. Nostra. Let's see. Nostra what? Oh, Nostra Finance, I guess. Is it Nostra Finance? Could you guys please confirm what is the Twitter handle? What about Fluidity? So Fluidity, I think I checked a few hours ago, and we still have 3 days to go. I'm just waiting. I am not really adding more volume into Fluidity. I might maybe today, since I have like 1K on my main wallet, so I might add like 10 more transactions. But that's it. I'm basically done with Fluidity. I'm just waiting. I'm doing Bera SAVM, so that is Satoshi VM, Taiko. Yeah, that's good. What about Reform DAO? Never heard of it. If Starknet drops soon, as it looks like, I think a lot of tokenless protocols will explode with incoming liquidity. Yeah, that's usual. Whenever we have an airdrop, usually everything goes up. If they are related, obviously. Can you quickly go through how you evaluate what airdrop are worth farming? Also, only so much time and capital to go around. Drowning, trying to keep up. Yeah, I know. It is obviously pretty crazy, the amount of projects that we can farm. That's why you guys can see that I don't really cover something like EtherFi, Eigenlayer, and many other projects. It is not because I don't like them, it is because I am not involved with them. And if I am not investing, if I don't have skin in the game, if I'm not spending money into a project, I'm not going to be talking about it, because this is not a tutorial YouTube channel. This is really my journey, so everything that I'm doing, you guys will be seeing it. So in terms of how I evaluate a project is first what type of project it is. That is number one. So I do a comparison on how much money usually we get per airdrop within that category. So for example, if it is something like Scroll that I want to farm, which is an L2, what I would do is check how much money we have made from previous projects. So we can check, for example, Arbitrum, Optimism, and many others. Aptos would be another one, even though it is an L1, but we can also add it to the list and see what are the usual requirements, how much money usually we make, and get like an average. So if the average is something like $5,000, okay, it is worth it. How much work I have to put in, so then I check the previous requirement. If it is something that I can do, if it is something that I understand, yes, I can go with it. Number two, I would go into something like CryptoRank.io to see who are the backers, who is investing into them, how much money they're allocating into it. Also checking some information online, so what they're saying about the project. Obviously, I'm gonna be testing it myself. If a project is trash, I'm not really getting involved with it, because most likely after the airdrop, everybody will just cash out, sell their tokens, and I'm just gonna be back holding. Because most of the time, if you are not really good at setting up an RPC, you're not gonna be able to sell at the top. I think that would be it. Obviously, checking how much hype there is behind it. Again, comparison with other projects, what people think about it, backers using it, making sure that it is a good project, and also what type of problem they're solving, if there is some type of differentiator with it. This is my favorite live stream, my friend. You're my favorite friend. Yeah, I'm always just using whatever is cheapest bridge, is cheapest for bridges. I gotta get on more chain. Yeah, I know. Usually that's what we do. Whenever we're farming something like layer 0 or any other chain or any other bridge, usually we just go with what we know works for us. So usually I'm using something like Arbitrum or Optimism, which are my main blockchains. But obviously, if you continue to do the same thing, and I have $10,000 in volume, you have $10,000 in volume, but I end up using 10 other chains, then dude, my ranking will be just way better than your ranking. Testnet, Galaxy campaign that I'm also getting into is DOP. Yeah, I heard DOP is good. Metis also is good. I've been extremely lazy about it. Blast also pretty good. I don't know what is Blast score. I guess it is a game. In mental chain, only putting volume in butter as a stop by waterforming bridges. Yeah, I heard about it. I guess it's good, but I haven't checked it, to be honest. I also heard Arbitrum will do a second airdrop. That will be fantastic. I don't think so. I don't think Arbitrum will do a second airdrop. And even if they do, just based on the amount of users that we have currently, most likely we're not going to be receiving anything good out of it. So no, there are way better opportunities out there. Now, if I get it, great. I'm still using Arbitrum on a day-to-day basis, but it is not something that I'm going to have on my list. What are your thoughts on $0 airdrop? Are they real? And how do we find them? Yes, so Testnet, obviously they are, but the likelihood of you making money from a testnet is pretty small. Like in comparison with a real project, a project that is on mainnet, dude, the amount of work that you have to put in to get something out of it usually doesn't even make sense. It is still good to participate so you can kind of understand how it works. This is getting laggy again, it looks like. Nah, we're good. So for me, testnet, yes, you can add it, but it should be something like 10 or 20% of what you're doing currently. Because if you really want to make some money, make sure that you're using something on mainnet. Because most of the time you're going to be receiving an airdrop. Like for me, at least this is the calculation that I have done. Around 60%, give or take, of the projects that I farm, usually I get an airdrop for it. For mainnet. For testnet, dude, I think I have done maybe 185 testnet. Out of that, I think I received maybe 2. So you can do the math. Pretty bad, like 2%, 5% of the total. Is it good to farm L2 testnet? Yeah, sure. If you want to, you guys can use it. What do you have to say about Jupiter? Nothing, to be honest. It is not a project that I'm getting involved with. It is good. I have used it in the past, but it is not something that I'm going to be holding. Do you know how much funding OMNIBTC have? Not sure if it is worth to farm it. Low funding. Low funding means nothing, guys. Low funding means nothing. It looks like now after airdrop, everybody's just looking at funding. Back in 2022, we were running from projects with funding because usually these are the first project to just dump their shares on us, obviously from investors. So take for instance something like Dimension. They raised $6 million. They're worth $1 billion. Now, Flow, which is another blockchain, they raise $750 million. And right now, I think they're worth less than $1 billion. So, doesn't really matter the amount of money that you raise, to be honest. It is still good if they can raise some money, but it is really not the primary goal. Like, for example, today, if you give me $1 billion, I don't know what to do with $1 billion. I'm not a developer. I don't know how to create a blockchain. I don't know how to attract a community. I don't know what problems I should be solving. So if I don't know these things, most likely I'm just going to be burning that $1 billion. Have you tried to get IDENA points for Gitcoin? Seems very confusing what to do. I haven't, to be honest. I just did the KYC and that's it. And I also got many points from GitHub. And also answering the question for OMNIBTC, I think it is good just because you guys can add some volume on layer 0. And also previously we were able to also add some volume for Wormhole. So in the end, it is pretty complete, and most likely they are going to be adding more and more features to other projects. Now, it is not something that I'm actively farming. It is not like I'm waking up today and I'm just going to be adding some volume just because on OMNIBTC. No, if I need to bridge, and if the gas fee is good, if I think it is worth it, if I have the option to select layer 0 so I can farm 2 projects in one, yeah, sure, I'm going to be using OMNIBTC. But it is not at my top priority. What I like to do, though, is that if I can use multiple projects while I'm farming something, obviously I'm going to be doing it. Yeah, fluidity will end in 3 days. So let's see how it goes. What is Starknet airdrop criteria? We don't know. We just know that they took the snapshot and we don't even know the date of the snapshot. So we're just waiting. Everybody's just waiting. Would be nice if we can get it tomorrow, at least to check. Which, by the way, tomorrow I'm not gonna be here. Obviously, Valentine. So make sure to do whatever you guys want to do. But I'm gonna be spending time with my wife tomorrow. Let's see what else. So I think I covered, yeah, Hyperlane. I covered that. Merkley, Zora. Also, you guys can continue to ask questions. By the way, I really love that. Let me go ahead and bring that. So on Merkley, you also have the option to use Polyhedra. The good thing with using Merkley and Polyhedra is that you can also use gas refuel, and it is using layer 0 technology. Now, it is not applicable for all the chains that you guys are seeing on layer 0 gas refuel, but it comes with some options. So we have OP, Celo, Moonbeam, Avalanche, that is Arbitrum Nova, BSC, Metis, Genesis, Core, Phantom, Polygon, Base, Linea, Mento. What is that? Oh, OPBNB. OPBNB is not that color. Scroll, and then Ethereum. So if you guys need to send some funds, you can also use that feature. And in the end, as you can see here, it is using layer 0 and Polyhedra. And you guys know that Polyhedra is tokenless. Other than that, you can just go directly to Polyhedra. By the way, ZK Bridge is the same thing as Polyhedra. Once you're here, you can also claim some NFTs were completely free. So from February the 5th until March the 3rd. So you guys can use it right here. Other than that, what is the other one? So you can also send some messages. Just like the email, basically, you can send some messages. And we have NFTs, and then you can also bridge your NFT. which it is not always using layer 0, but still you guys can use it, and sometimes I think it is using layer 0 depending on the chain. So if you're using something like BNB to Arbitrum, I'm pretty sure it is using layer 0. Just make sure to use all of them. Again, same process. Use all the chains, make sure to add some volume to use all the applicable features. Starknet airdrop will mostly reward developers and early adopters, users, or at the end of the priority list. Well, early adopters are users, so basically it is the same thing. But as usual, the early you are with a project, usually you could get a way better airdrop. That's how it is always. How many transaction is good for Polyhedra airdrop? To be honest, I don't know, because we don't have something like a tracker or some stats on the amount of transactions that people are taking on Polyhedra. So at least at the moment, I don't know. But let's see if I can find something on Dune Analytics. Maybe there is some type of tracker. Just 1 second. Maybe ZK Bridge. Okay, so you can check your transactions here. Let's see. It is not even showing my transactions. You guys cannot see the screen. In just a second, I'm gonna show you guys. 1 sec. I have 2 screens. Nah, this thing is not working. So Polyhedra. Polyhedra rank. Okay. Oops. Oh my God. There we go. How many transactions? No, I already read that. I know you dislike parking money, but ZK land, this is sync swap. I think we're back. So I actually lost power, so I have no electricity, but I have internet, so it should be working. Yeah, it is working. I think so. Yeah. So let me go ahead and cover that pretty quickly, because actually I'm using the internet for my phone and I'm at 9% right now. So ZK Bridge can show all the transaction. ZK Bridge. Yeah, but what I mean is versus everybody, not my transaction. What I want to check is some other people's transactions. What do you mean? So by the fees charged on OKX with the Wikipedia Quest, feels like Polyhedra on the values BNB, OPBNB transaction, do you think they may have different weight in score for their airdrop? I don't think so. Most likely it should be the same. Where can you see that campaign? Click on ecosystem and then click on campaign. It's really hard for me to do the live stream when I only have one screen right now. Okay. the heck? Either way. So yeah, guys, most likely that's it. You guys can add, again, I don't have like a rule for Polyhedra. Just try to add as much volume as possible for it. And that's it. Most likely you should do good. Because really, this is extremely underfarmed, and I think it is because we don't have the stats for it, so people are just skipping it. So make sure you don't. Just add some volume. They raise a pretty good amount of money. I think it is over $20 million. So they should do good. Let me answer just a few questions before I leave you guys. Do you think with 3 months, 37 transaction and 2K volume, I will qualify for Wormhole? Most likely, yes. Volume is not high, but in the end, only 90,000 people actually use Wormhole. So most likely, even with a free transaction, you should be receiving something out of it. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna get rich, but you should be receiving something. Oh, it's back. Cool. Mate, you got this damage placer where there is a comparison. Very destroyer. What do you mean? Okay. So yeah, for Polyhedra, usually what they have is like a few campaigns that you guys can participate. I actually got this, but I didn't mint the Pendra King, and right now it is worth like $300 or something like that. I do have a few of these, but I didn't mint the Pendra King. I think I also have a pilot. I also have ZK Lite client, so I've been using it for some time, to be honest. So that's it, guys, for today. We'll be back most likely Thursday. As I said, tomorrow I'm not gonna be here, taking the day off to spend some time with wifey. That's it. Take care. See you guys later on. Enjoy your Valentine.